Okay, so I know I haven't done a video for a while. I think since maybe a couple weeks ago or last week. But I am watching the Dark Knight trilogy. I've seen it plenty of times before. But I'm watching it right now. I watched Batman Begins and The Dark Knight yesterday. I'm going to be watching The Dark Knight Rises today. So I figured, why not review this trilogy? And that's what I'm going to do, starting with this one, which is Batman Begins. But I want you guys to keep in mind too, throughout the review, as you can probably tell, I'm talking in a little bit of a lower register than what I usually do. I was at the Bruins game last night. Fun time, but my voice is a little hoarse, so that's why I'm kind of talking in a little bit of a lower register. I was at the Bruins. They won. So, but yeah, so let's get down to talking about Batman Begins. Batman Begins, otherwise known as Batman Rise from the Depths of Hell, or Batman Gets CPR, or Batman Resuscitated, or Batman's Alive, or whatever you want to put for the subtitle for this movie is perfectly fine. After the bullshit that was Batman and Robin, you could put any subtitle on this movie because this is really the resurrection of Batman. So Batman Begins came out in 2005. It is directed by Christopher Nolan and stars Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne / Batman. It also stars Michael Caine as Alfred, Gary Oldman as Jim Gordon. You get Morgan Freeman in this movie too, and you can't go wrong with Morgan Freeman. And you get Liam Neeson. So at the beginning of this movie, Bruce Wayne is in some Asian country. I don't know which. All the Asians look alike, so I'm just going to say he's in Asia somewhere. And he's training with the League of Shadows, led by this guy called Henry Ducard, who's played by Liam Neeson. And he's like, I want to become this beacon of hope, this hero, something that can overcome my fear to help rid Gotham of all its crime, and that is who I want to be. And while he's training, he finds out that the leader of the League of Shadows, Ra's al Ghul, wants to destroy Gotham City because it is so full of crime and is so populated with the mafia. He's gonna put a fear toxin into Gotham City's water supply with this weapon, and he's gonna contaminate it, and everybody's gonna get exposed to it. It's gonna be this fear toxin that's gonna make everybody try and fight each other, so it's gonna start riots. Pretty cool, if you ask me. A shit ton better than the plot we got in Batman and Robin, which involved Mr. Freeze buying a diamond gun because his suit runs on diamonds. He's already got billions of diamonds, so he's going to sell diamonds to Gotham City to get billions of dollars to help his terminally ill wife. Yes, that movie's bad. Wait until I do a review for that movie. I will soon. But yeah, Batman and Robin doesn't exist in my world. And when this movie first came out, pretty much like every other moviegoer, I think I was very skeptical. I doubted this movie from the second I heard about it. I was like, oh no, new Batman movie, not gonna see it. I was 11 by the time this came out, so I was like, yeah, I already know how bad Batman and Robin is. It's not enjoyable to watch anymore. When I was like 4, yeah, it was cool, but not now, and this doesn't look any good. Then I'm there, and I'm sitting at the theater, watching this movie, and I'm like, this is actually pretty good. And then it progresses, I'm like, this is actually really good. And then the movie comes to the conclusion, I'm like, that was fucking good! Everything in this movie works. Everything from the tone to the themes, to the plot, to the acting, minus Katie Holmes, is very good. The directing is really good, the dialogue is really good. This is the Batman movie, and the Batman trilogy that Batman fans have been waiting for forever. So the cast, yeah, like I said, Christian Bale is in this. He plays Bruce Wayne / Batman. He's a really good Bruce Wayne, but he's a really good Batman. More of this stupid George Clooney bullshit where he just pops in and he's like, "Hi, Freeze, I'm Batman." Yeah, none of that bullshit. All that cheesy, toyetic bullshit from Batman and Robin, and the previous Batman films for that matter, are completely gone. And when he's Batman, he is Batman, because he's like stringing people up. Like his first job that he does as Batman in Gotham City, takes down Carmine Falcone's like mafia gang and like his drug shipments and all that. So he just strings like one of like these guys up from, it's a corrupt cop that's Jim Gordon's partner. Strings him up with his grapple and he just holds him and he's like, Where were the other drugs going? And dude, at this point, the whole audience is frightened. The dude is frightened who's already grappled. We're all just like, So that's what Batman's supposed to sound like. Dude's like dangling upside down. He's like, I swear to God, I don't know. Batman's all like, swear to me. So that's how Christian Bale sounds as Batman in this movie. And I gotta say, it's pretty fun to do that voice. I'm Batman. Nice coat. Why? It's not what I am underneath, but who you are. That defines you. Do I look like a cop? Where's Rachel? Rachel! Okay, I'll stop now. But Christian Bale does it really well. He gives Batman a persona. Thank God. But the thing is people argue that Christian Bale's Batman voice is too deep. Like, I guess you could say that. I guess you could say it's like an excess of phlegm plus throat cancer equals Christian Bale's Batman voice. But hey, I give him kudos. At least he's not talking like Christian Bale would as Bruce Wayne. Michael Caine is Alfred, which is Bruce Wayne's butler. Yeah, he's really good in this movie too. He's like the comic relief type of guy, and when we see flashbacks of how Bruce Wayne like grew up and how he was living his life before he was training, he's the guy you can sympathize with. He's like, yeah, I agree with everything you're saying 100%. I give a damn because my father gave me a job, and that job was to protect you. Gary Oldman's in this movie too. For those of you that don't know who Gary Oldman is, he plays Sirius Black in Harry Potter. He's really good in this movie. He plays Jim Gordon. He's got the signature mustache. He's got the signature glasses. Yeah, he is everything Jim Gordon should be. And it's like he's in the beginning of the movie, and then he like kind of disappears until like the hour and 15 mark. You're just like, what happened to that Jim Gordon guy? Where's Gary Oldman? I want him back. Don't worry, he does come back, because after Batman does this whole Batman thing and speaks in his Batman voice, he goes to Gary Oldman's house, and Gary Oldman's like, yeah, I think you're trying to help, but I have been wrong before. Cillian Murphy, holy shit, this guy kills it as the Scarecrow. Rutger Hauer is in this movie as some guy named Earl, who's like the CEO now of like Wayne Enterprises, because Bruce Wayne is like off training, he's off doing his own shit. Now this guy's like, yep, I'm the CEO of Wayne Enterprises. Nobody can fire me. I am the boss. You will bow down before me and cater to my every whim. That is why you are going to kneel before Zod. Tom Wilkinson plays Carmine Falcone. Yeah, he's a dick. He is a huge dick. And then you get Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson's cool. He's got like two personas in this movie. I'm not going to say what the second persona is. For those of you that have not seen the Dark Knight trilogy and you want to see it, this is the one to start off with, by the way. Of course, it's called Batman Begins, but his twist in the character was really, really cool. Unexpected when I first saw it. I was just like, oh shit. Balls, Batman screwed. Plus, too, if you take something from this guy, he will hunt you. And he will kill you. Over the phone. Taking reference, had to throw it in there. But if there's one person in the cast that I really don't like, I really don't care for, I think she's a terrible actress. She did good in this movie. I mean, she still didn't act really well in this movie. You can still see that she's a bad actress in this movie, but she did good with what she was given for, but I don't like her one bit, and that is the chick that married Tom Cruise, and that is Katie Holmes. Now, Katie Holmes plays Bruce Wayne's childhood friend, Rachel Dawes. She's also in The Dark Knight, like, the character, but Katie Holmes does not play her in The Dark Knight, thank God. She's played by Maggie Gyllenhaal in The Dark Knight, who is actually a good actress. I guess Katie Holmes' whole defense for not wanting to return for The Dark Knight is that she thought it was going to be complete bullshit, and Tom Cruise talked her out of it. I bet she regrets that now, and I think I saw an interview where she's like, yeah, I regret it. It was a very good movie. I regret it. No shit, you're gonna regret it. You're stupid. You're married to Tom Cruise. You're somewhat hot, I guess. Kinda, not really. But you know, all you hot chicks, well, in your case, somewhat hot chicks, yeah, you don't make smart decisions. And just to wrap up this whole cast, talking about the casting, it seems like the cast in this movie, minus Katie Holmes, steals every scene they are in. It's awesome. And the thing about these Batman movies, and especially this one, because this is what kicked off the new trilogy, this Batman movie, it actually gives you a realistic, gritty, dark Batman. That's what people are waiting for. And everybody was just like, when is this stupid movie company, Warner Brothers, who just goes after the money instead of trying to make good movies, when are they going to realize that they need to reboot the Batman franchise and give us the Batman movie we deserve? Well, I mean, it took them till 2005. 8 years after whatever happened. That doesn't count, but finally, they did it. And I think the most consensus among people is that not only is this a good Batman film, not only is this a good superhero film, but it's just a good film overall. It's got a good cast, good direction, good script. It shows, and it gives you the realistic, dark, gritty, comic book version of Batman that everybody has been waiting for since day one. Also, another thing, you have some themes in this movie. The themes in this movie include, like, father-son themes, Bruce, before we see his parents get, obviously, it's not really a spoiler alert, but yeah, Bruce Wayne's parents die. So, but I think that's kind of given, because, he's like, yeah, this is why I'm fighting crime, my fear of bats, parents died, gotta get all that pain and fear out, so that's why I am the Batman. But yeah, his parents die, but like the scenes that show like his father and young Bruce Wayne are really good. It shows like how they bond. It's done really well. But the most prevalent theme in this movie is definitely fear. Bruce Wayne is becoming Batman to overcome his fear of bats. Ra's al Ghul and the League of Shadows want to contaminate Gotham City's water supply by putting a fear toxin in the water supply that will infect people and make them see all crazy kinds of shit, and they'll be feared. And another thing too is that I think it's not really shown throughout the movie, but this is my personal preference. I think Alfred has the internal fear that Bruce Wayne that people will know that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Now, some things that might turn people off from Batman Begins, it doesn't really bother me, but watching it yesterday, I was kind of like, yeah, I kind of noticed it a little bit more. And I'll talk about that. The thing I really noticed yesterday is that, in parts, the pacing can probably be a little bit annoying. Like, the movie starts off, he's not Batman. He's not Batman for like an hour and 10 minutes into this movie. So a lot of people might just be like, ugh, this is a Batman movie. Become Batman already, okay? This is moving too slow. It starts off slow. It's all build up to how he becomes Batman. It doesn't bother me, but I'm saying it might bother some other people. Other people who are expecting to see Batman within like the first like half hour, yeah, you're not going to get it. And within that first hour, there's like one action scene, and he's not even Batman. He's training at the League of Shadows house, and like he just starts fighting them all. So that's like the first action scene in the movie. That's the first action scene in the movie. It's like 20 minutes into the movie, and then you don't have another action scene for like another hour and 25. So a lot of people, if you're watching this, you might get bored. I don't, because it's a good movie, because there's more to a movie than action, but for people that are like looking for a Batman movie with action, yeah, you're gonna get bored. And like an hour and 40 in, there's another action scene, and then there's an action scene to cap off the movie, but I don't even count that as an action scene, because it's not really Batman like fighting anybody. It's him doing cool shit, yeah, but there's another action scene before that I feel like is the defining action scene of the movie. That's where he's going through on his badass Batmobile. The Batmobile, holy shit. That thing is massive, and it is a tank. It is so badass. It's called the Tumbler. Yeah, he's just driving that huge-ass machine through Gotham City. Police are chasing him. Yeah, cool action scene. For people who are bored at that point, this is the part where they might actually get interested in the movie. They'll be like, okay, now, finally, break up the dialogue a little bit. And that's the cool thing with Christopher Nolan. He proves that you don't have to throw mindless action scenes in there to entertain everybody, unlike Michael Bay, who seriously does not entertain anybody. Another thing, this isn't taken away from the movie, but it might kinda, for little kids that want to watch this movie, I wouldn't have a 7-year-old watch this movie. A 10-year-old, yeah, probably. This is a PG-13 movie, so, he's the 10-year-old, if he hasn't seen a lot of blood and guts and or like scary stuff, yeah, he's gonna get scared. You can take like a 12-year-old and see this, and they'll be like, oh, this is nothing. This is how Batman should be done. So yeah, that's kind of a warning for parents. I don't know if any parents watch my reviews, or if they've seen the Batman movies, or if they're planning to watch these movies with their kids, but if you got like 5, 6-year-old kids that want to watch this movie, and the Dark Knight trilogy for that matter, I would say wait till they're a little bit older. It's not for them. Put them on the, I hate to say this, but put them on the George Clooney Batman. They'll find it amusing. You'll be like, oh, I gotta sit through this with my kid. But they'll like it because it's lighthearted, and they'll be like, oh my god, it's Batman! And you'll be watching and you'll be like, holy shit, buddy, why are you making me watch this? But Daddy, it's Batman! Yeah, I know, Timmy, but I'd rather actually watch a Batman movie, not this piece of shit. Yeah, in that sense, these movies are not for, like, 6-year-olds. 6-year-olds are gonna want to see this movie because it's Batman, but it's not for them. So yeah, that's not a gripe of the movie itself, but it could reduce the audience. Another thing, too, with this movie, I feel like you gotta have a lot of Batman knowledge to know what's going on, especially when you watch The Dark Knight. You gotta know who, like, everybody is, kind of, what their roles are, and a lot of comic book fans, or a lot of people who aren't comic book fans, who only know Batman and don't know, like, Jim Gordon or Ra's al Ghul, any of those, like, cool supporting characters, they might get lost. But don't worry, just watch the rest of the movies. You'll know who everybody is. You'll have better appreciation for superhero movies. So in the end, minus the fact that this might scare little kids, people might need knowledge of the Batman comics to understand what is going on in this movie, and it might be slow to some people to get started for like the first hour. Batman Begins rejuvenates life into the Batman movies. Batman has finally resurrected. Thanks to Christopher Nolan, we get good acting, minus Katie Holmes, good dialogue, good script, good plot, good story, good cinematography, a dark, realistic, gritty comic book version of Batman that we have all been waiting for. I will say this, if Batman and Robin led to the creation of this movie, that's the one thing it did well. Other than that, that movie completely blows. But I'm glad Warner Brothers finally came to their senses and was like, alright, Batman and Robin sucked. We rejected every idea Joel Schumacher had for a 5th Batman movie. Now we decided to reboot it. Christopher Nolan's got the best idea. Let's go with Christopher Nolan's idea. And it worked because this was the beginning of the best superhero trilogy of all time. And not only that, it's also one of the best trilogies of all time. And even though, in my personal preference, Batman Begins is the weakest movie in the Dark Knight trilogy, not taking anything away from it. It's still a very, very well done movie, but I just like the stories of The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises over Batman Begins. Doesn't take anything away from that, but even though it is the weakest in my personal preference of the Dark Knight trilogy, that doesn't take away the fact that Batman Begins still is excelente. This really is the resurrection of the Batman movie franchise. And now Ben Affleck and the stupid Man of Steel sequel, that doesn't need a sequel because Man of Steel was already bullshit, is gonna shit all over that. So I want some feedback. If you have seen Batman Begins, I want some feedback of what you guys thought of the movie. So drop me a comment in the comment section below. And I'm gonna ask you guys a couple of questions. One, Linkin Park's new album, The Hunting Party, is up next in my rotation for CDs. So I'm going to be listening to that. I know that came out way back in June, but I want to know if you guys want a review for it. If you do, I'll do a review. I might just do one anyway because I haven't done a music review for a long time, since July. So I'll probably end up doing that. Another thing, I'm thinking about doing a separate playlist on my channel. It's going to be called Random Movie Rants. So I'm just going to have I think I'm going to have like a playlist for like the reviews and then like the random movie rants. That's kind of going to be broken up. Like it's going to be a weekly show, I think. I'm going to do one of those videos a week just to like kind of keep so that you know I'm alive. If I can't see I can't see a lot of movies cuz I'm a busy guy. I got work, I got school, I got other shit I got to do, so I can't go to the movies every 5 days and see a movie. That's why some of these movies, when I review them, it's like a week late. Sometimes it's until they're out on Blu-ray or to rent on iTunes. But I want to know what you guys think of that. I'm going to try and maybe do it like a weekly show, kind of make it like a 15-minute like webisode, like kind of like a season. So like if you guys want it, I'll start like season 1 of Random Movie Rants. Episode 1, I don't know. I really want to talk about the new title for Star Wars Episode 7 and the Hobbit trailer, so I could probably do like a double episode, or I could do like a half-hour episode of me talking about those. It's up to you guys, though. I mean, that's something I want to kind of break into like different seasons, have like episodes, kind of be like a web series. But that would be a separate playlist. It's up to you. And That would be it's where I talk about like trailers, movies. There won't be like reviews on that playlist, but let me know what you think about that. Drop me a comment in the comment section below for that as well. And for more reviews on movies, music, video games, and TV shows, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm Batman.